Okay.
What else?
I'm just going to remind us in this month, in about 9 minutes.
I'll remind him.
Just so we know to put away the coffee and all of that.
I'm Yakish.
Okay. So we're starting on Daf Chaf, and we're going to start over here from Amar Rabbi. So Zeiri said before that if the back of the neck of an animal was split,
Run the base.
Chaf on the base, Chaf on the base, and the majority of the flesh of the neck as well, so the spine and the flesh was split, so that animal wasn't a vela. What that means is that if someone would come and shecht it from the front, it wouldn't be mitar, it would still be tameh, because you see, a nevela means that it had an injury that caused it to die without shechita. So Rav Chizda tried to prove that this is actually there's a source for this in a Mishnah. It says if someone does malika with a knife, so it makes his clothing tameh. Okay, so that means that if it would have been a treifa, then the knife would have been the shechita, would have made it pure. He said there's no proof from that, because it could be that wasn't a valid shechita. The only thing that could prove to us if Zeiri is correct is if the neck was broken with all the flesh, and then someone came from the front and shechted it. What happens now? Was it considered dead already? Or do we say that no, it wasn't dead, it just had an injury? So Amar Rava says, Ikashali, if I would have a question on Zeiri, Hakashali, this would be my question. V'chimesa oimed u'moilek. You see, a bird this is, you mentioned this yesterday. What's happening here is that the way malika is done is you take the fingernail, the kohen takes his fingernail, and he has the bird in his hand, and he pushes his fingernail through the back of the neck of the bird into the simanim. Now, Zeiri said that once the spine is broken, the animal's considered dead. It's a nevela. So Rabbi says, so what's he doing? He's doing malika on a dead animal, because how does he get to the pipes? He has to go through the back of the neck. So his wording is v'chimesa oimed u'moilek. Is he doing malika on a dead bird? Because according to Zeiri, the bird's dead because it broke through the back. Amalei Abaya. Abaya says, Abaya's question is the following. There's two birds that need malika. One is an Eily saif and one is a chata saif. Now, it says clearly by the Eily saif, it says clearly by the chata saif, do not sever the head from the body. V'lo yavdil. It says do not divide it. By the Eily saif, we know that you are supposed to divide it. So by the Eily saif, you have to cut both signs, majority or both. By the chata saif, you don't. So Abaya says, Amalei Abaya, v'tikshilach Eily saif the Bais shnei simanim. You can ask, what about the Eily saif that you need to cut both pipes? V'chimesa oimed u'moilek, even without Zeiri. Even without Zeiri, that breaking the neck isn't. Zeiri says if the neck is broken, the animal's dead. So Rabbi says, so you're continuing to cut. But even if we don't accept Zeiri, that is not considered dead. It's just a treifa. It's just a treifa. Let's say. But everyone holds that one of these two pipes on the bird that need to be cut by shechita. One of the pipes is the esophagus, the food pipe, or the trachea, the windpipe. So if he cuts through one of the pipes, that's considered a valid shechita. Okay, you don't need to cut both pipes on a bird. when you do shchita. If you want to be a sheikh, you don't have to cut both of the pipes. Only one of them. But by malika, by an Eily Sayif, you have to go through both of the pipes. So Abaya tells Rava, he says, even if you don't accept Zeiri, but because you have to cut both of the pipes, so what are you doing? You're doing malika, the second pipe. You're doing malika on the second pipe on a dead bird. Everyone holds the first pipe. Zeiri's chiddush was the spine makes it dead, but everyone holds one pipe makes it dead on a bird. So now what are you doing the second pipe for? It's already dead. Amalei. So Rava says back, Kasam kadei l'kayim b'mitzvah Havdalah. Over there, I'm trying to fulfill the mitzvah of Havdalah. Havdalah doesn't mean Havdalah like Bari Mereish, all of that stuff. Havdalah means that you have to separate the head from the body by an Eily Sayif. It's not shchita. It's not shchita. Shchita was or malika. That was done already. I have a separate mitzvah that I have to go all the way through. The Gemara says, if that's what you need, you have to sever the head from the body, yihachi or nami. So why don't you have to cut the skin? And we know that you don't have to cut the skin. We're going to see there's a machlekes, but no one says that the skin needs to be cut. Need another chair. So
It's 5:42.
okay, go ahead.
We need another table.
We need another table and another chair.
So you want to turn that table sideways?
Do you want to do that?
Yeah.
Okay, if we turn this table sideways, we go.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
That just got comfortable.
Oh,
Okay, here.
I can bring
You
a
got
table from there.
I'm attached, so someone has to take me over.
Paris Pinchas.
See, I'm so happy you're here.
Paris is from New Jersey.
There we go.
Whoa.
Curtis, you okay down there?
Yeah, perfect.
You're not out of the...
Constructive view, but
Go.
Okay, so there's a machlekes how much of the neck needs to be cut, but no one says that the skin needs to be cut, even by an Eily Sayif.
5:43.
So the Gemara answers, Kol ma'akiv b'shchita ma'akiv b'avdala. V'chol she'ena ma'akiv b'shchita ena ma'akiv b'avdala. Yes, you have to sever the neck. Yes, you have to sever the neck. But what parts do you need to sever? Only things that are ma'akiv in the shchita. Ma'akiv means that they would they make the shchita valid. If they're not performed, then the shchita would be invalid. So that's the parts that need to be severed. What the Gemara is trying to say is that the skin doesn't need to be severed. So therefore, when we say that we have to sever the head from the body, it's only the things that are not... That's Levi's. Oh no, we need another chair. Oh, what is this? No, but... Levi's next to me.
We're good.
So,
We're supposed to 5:45.
okay.
Now 5:45. Yeah.
So what we're trying to say is that the skin, it's not a problem that it's not cut, because that's not part of the shchita. It's not makiv in the shchita. The Gemara says, if you're going to use the word ma'akiv, what's the translation of ma'akiv? Holds back, but what's the prevents the validity? It's ma'akiv, it prevents the validity.
He uses the word essential.
Oh yeah. So anything that's essential in the shchita, so that needs to be set. That also needs to be cut. The Gemara says, "V'miyit semanim l'Rabbanan d'lei ma'akvi b'shchita u'ma'akvi b'avdala." But 1 second, you only have to shech the majority of the tubes or tube by shchita, but nevertheless, in other words, that's only the majority of the pipes. are essential, and the rest of it isn't. But nevertheless, when it comes to Havdalah, you have to sever it, according to the Rabbanan. The Rabbanan are going to say you have to sever the whole both pipes. The Gemara says, okay, it just rephrases it. It's just a slight amendment to this. Ela ema kol sheyeshna b'shchita yeshna b'Havdalah. Kol she'ena b'shchita ena b'Havdalah. It doesn't mean anything that's essential for the shchita. It means anything that the shchita is performed on. That's what needs to be severed. But the skin, that's not part of the shchita. So therefore, even in the oilas ha'oif, where the head needs to be severed from the body, but it still could be attached by the skin. Okay, so this was sort of a distraction from the original question. Rava's question was that the bird is dead, according to Zeiri, because he broke the neck. By Malika, he had to stick his fingernail through the spine. By the time he gets to the pipes, according to Zeiri, it's already a nevela. And then, so what's he doing? He's he's doing Malika on a dead animal. So the Gemara says, Mikol Makom Kasher. What you got distracted with this whole abayas thing, with severing the head and all of that. But what about Rava's question? Rava says, Ema Kenuaisa Chaytech Shedra Umefarekes Beloy Rev Basar. You have to say it like this. When he does Malika, he cuts through the spine, yes. But there's one detail here that we didn't emphasize. If you look back at Zeiri, the Zeiri says that if the spine is broken, and there's one more point, and the majority of the flesh is cut, then it's a nevela. So someone yesterday said that they would sharpen the needle, the nail to do this. They would have to make it that the nail would go through the back of the neck and into the pipes, but they wouldn't cut the majority of the flesh. That's a solution. So it wasn't dead. According to Zeiri, it's only dead if the flesh on the sides are cut. But here it just went straight through the spine into the pipes, and it would cut that, but it wouldn't cut the flesh that was on the sides. Kisalik Reb Zera. When Reb Zera went up to Eretz Yisrael, Reb Zera went to Eretz Yisrael from Babel. So Ashkechel Rabbi Yosef Ka'amar La Hashmaitza. He found that Rabbi was sitting in Eretz Yisrael, and he was saying this halacha. Amalei. So he says to him, "V'chimesa Aymed U'Mailek." He asks Rava's question. Rava was later. Reb Zera didn't know Rava, I don't think. Reb Zera was, well, he could be because he was a friend of Rabba and Reb Zera, remember? Rabba and Reb Zera. So he asked Rabbi Rava's question. So 1 second, how do you do Malika? The bird is dead.
Yeah.
Ah.
Sorry. Next time.
So, Ishtaimim kishachada. Rabbi was quiet, and he was. The word ishtaimim means he was astonished. He was like dumbfounded. Right? Thank you. For a moment. Amalei. Then he says, "Ema kachaway." So say that this is how he performs it. Chaytech shedrim mefarekes b'lei reiv basar. The way Malika is done is without cutting all the flesh, and that way it resolves the question on from Zeiri, or on Zeiri's halacha. Yeah.
Sorry, question. When we going back way at being when we talk about shchita and the behemoth or other animals, and or sheikha came in, it was mentioning that when they did this, it automatically cut the veins going.
Right.
And he said, with Malika, there is no involvement
Right.
of cutting veins because
Right.
it's just straight through.
Right.
So that would really explain.
But we're
maybe
going to
why
say
he's not
that he
in
actually
favor.
will cut the veins. He will cut the veins, but not right away. So when he cuts the pipes, which is the main part of the shechita, the flesh on the side wasn't cut.
Which
contains the veins.
So therefore, technically, it's not in the vein.
Right. what Dr. Stein is pointing out is that what the Gemara is not mentioning here is that there are veins on the side that are in the flesh. So he's not severing the flesh, but it's possible that the veins are the critical part here that's not making it a nevela. That's what you're bringing out. It could be that's the pshat. So Tani Nami Hachi. See where we are? Tani Nami Hachi. This was also taught in a brisa. Kate said Malkin. How was Malika performed? Okay. Chata Sa'if, by a Chata Sa'if, which we know you only cut one of the pipes, you don't have to cut both of them. Chaytech Shidra Mefarekes B'lei Reiv Basar. He cuts the spine and Shidra, I guess, is the spinal cord. In the spine, without the majority of the flesh, until he reaches the esophagus, the food pipe, or to the windpipe. Once he reaches the food pipe or the windpipe, he cuts one of the pipes or the majority of a pipe, and then he does the majority of the flesh as well. But if you notice, at first it said below reiv basar. When he goes through the spine, he does it without the majority of the flesh. He only goes back and does the majority of the flesh. So this is a proof that the way that we're resolving Ze'iris, the problem with Ze'iri, is that the bird is considered an avela before you even cut the pipes. It's a proof that it's not we have a way of resolving it because he is not cutting the flesh. Uba Eila, let's say if it's an Eila, so Shnayim or Reiv Shnayim. It's either two pipes or the majority of two pipes. The Gemara, okay, that's a proof. But the Gemara now asks on this, Mani, who's the author of this? Irabanan, if it's the rabbis by Eila Sa'if, they say they have to cut two pipes. We didn't learn this yet, but we're going to spend some time today learning the Machlekes, the Rabbanan and Rabbi Elazar Bar Shimon. The Rabbanan say that the Eila Sa'if, the bird that's an Eila, Ha'amri Shnayim Dafka, they say that you have to cut both of the pipes entirely. Ikar Rabbi Elazar Bar Shimon, if it's like Rabbi Elazar Bar Shimon, Ha'amri Reiv Shnayim. Rabbi Elazar Bar Shimon says you only need to cut the majority of both pipes. So what the Gemara is asking is, when we read that brisa, it said, when you reach the Kanar, the Veshet, you either cut Simen Echad, or Rubai. By the Eila Sa'if, it says you either cut both of the pipes, or Reiv Shnayim. Reiv Shnayim or Baila Shnayim or Reiv Shnayim. Both of the pipes are majority. The Gemara is asking, where are they getting this opinion from that it's either this or that? We have two opinions, but they don't say, none of them say either. Either it's specifically this, or it's specifically that. So the Gemara says, Eima Shnayim l'Rabbanan, Reiv Shnayim l'Rabbi Elazar Bar Shimon. What the Gemara is doing is it's telling you both opinions. It says according, and it's not telling you which opinion to go like. It's just saying the way it's done. According to this opinion, it's both pipes. According to Rabbi Elazar Bar Shimon, it's the majority. Iba Yasem, if you want, you could say, or I could say, Havaha Rabbi Elazar Bar Shimon. Both is Rabbi Elazar Bar Shimon, which means the majority and both pipes. So what does it mean, both pipes? Rabbi Elazar Bar Shimon holds you cut the majority of the pipes. My Shnayim Shadaiman L'Shnayim. What does it mean that it's you cut it both pipes? It means that it looks like you cut both pipes because there's really two types of majority.
Because once you cut it, now it's two pipes.
No. He's saying that there's two. He's saying that there's two types of majority. One type of majority is 51%. Other type of majority is rubai kakule, that you cut 99%. That's also a majority. So what Rabbi Elazar Bar Shimon is saying is that either you cut shnayim, which means not that the whole thing, but you cut it in a way that it's 99%, or reiv shnayim, or it's just 51%, which is also the majority. Right? Big space over there in between 51 and 99. but it's still both of them is the majority. So Rabbi Elazar Bar Shimon is saying that you have two types of majorities. One appears to be the whole thing, because it's almost the whole thing, but it's still not the whole thing. Another one is just Roiv. Roiv is 51%. Right?
According to Rabban, if he only cut Roiv, it won't be good.
According to Rabban, you have to cut both.
But
Yeah.
you cut both Roiv.
No, you have to cut both. We'll see. We'll see in a moment how that works. Okay. Like in school, there's a difference between passing and getting a plus. Right? Both of them are passing. Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Shmuel. Rav Yehuda says in the name of Shmuel. We said Rav Yehuda studied by Rav. After Rav passed away, he went and he studied by Shmuel. So Rav Yehuda says, Nishbara mefarekas v'reiv basarima metama ba'oil. If a person, we're switching animals here. If a person, if his neck was cut, the spine was cut, and the majority of his flesh was cut, he's considered not alive anymore. And this is when they shout "Kayanim Arais," because he's already contaminates under the same roof.
What is the gauge here? With what?
Nishbara mefarekas v'reiv basarima. The spine was broken, and majority of the flesh was cut with it. Vim taimar, and if you'll say, Oisim ma'aseh de Eily mefarekas b'lei reiv basar have. See, there was a fellow, a Kayan and a Navi, that died because he fell back on his chair, and he broke his neck. It was Eily a Kayan.
So when they captured the Aron?
When they came back, they told him the news that the Aron was captured. So they told him that his sons were killed in the battle. And he said, "What else happened?" He said, "The Aron was captured," and he fell back, and he broke his neck, and he died. He was leaning back on his chair. So he said, "But 1 second, it doesn't say that most of the flesh was cut. What does it mean?" It says it's assuming that he died just from breaking the neck. But we said that breaking the neck isn't to death only with most of the flesh. So the Gemara says, "Zakena shiny." Over there, he was when he's old. It's different. So that takes takes care of the most of the flesh. The Ksiv, as it's written, by Yehikiz Kireh Serena Likim, and when they mentioned the part of the story that the Ark of God was captured, it was Shaul actually that came to tell him, right? Shaul was able to reach into the Ark and salvage the tablets that were in there, and so the Ark was empty, and he brought them back. So Vayipol mi'ala kisei achiranis, he fell back on his chair backwards, biyad yad hashar, next to the gate. Vatishbar mefarakte vayamas, kizakanish v'kavid v'goymer. He broke his spine, and he died because he was old and heavy. Okay, so that explains that. So, Amar Rab Shmuel bar Nachmani, Amar Rab Yochanan. It's very interesting. Many times Rab Shmuel bar Nachmani says in the name of Rabbi Yonasan. Whenever we do that, he always quotes a pasuk. And here there's no pasuk.
In this last case, we're trying to compare the death of a human to the death of an animal.
Yeah, we're doing that.
Why would we assume it's the same?
Well,
A person can die without having his skin severed.
right, and the animal also can.
Yeah, but the animal is part of the shechita process. An animal can die of old age also. So why do we assume that if a person died, that his skin should be severed?
Because Suri Meno died at the thought that her son was going to be shechted. So you don't even have to wait. Not really.
We're assuming that the biology is the same.
It's not just regular stuff. It's the same
Right.
concept. You have shchita, you have chostuma. They're interchangeable.
No, but the
Shchita
case we're
and
trying to
tumah.
prove is he fell back and he broke his neck and he passed away.
Right.
So the Gemara says, but he didn't sever his skin. So
This
what's
is
going on here?
this is in referral to Hilchos Tumah.
What do you mean refer to those?
We're comparing in many places from shchita and tumah together.
Okay.
Shchita and chus- we're not talking about the fact if a person dies or doesn't die. These are not relevant to us.
Fine.
What's relevant to us is the outcome. Is he going to be metame or not?
Yeah, but the
metame?
question the Gemara is asking, correct me if I'm wrong, Eily, is that his skin wasn't severed, right?
It wasn't severed, right?
Right.
Okay, so
For in regards to Hilchos Tumah.
fine.
But why?
In our earlier Gemara, we were saying that you have to sever the skin of the animal. So here's it's seemingly a contradiction. I'm asking, why does that be a contradiction? He didn't die from breaking his neck. He died partly of old age. And why do we assume that by a human being,
Okay.
the skin has to be severed?
Okay, so first of all, in the Gemara, it's not a question because Rabbi Yehuda says in the name of Shmuel that the same thing would apply to a human. The same law would apply. So I have the statement again by a human. But why is there such a problem to say that the animals and humans have the same death?
No, because in the animal, you're taking a knife to its neck and you're chopping off its neck. So yes, the skin has to be severed. That makes sense. But when a human being passed away, he could pass away from
It's
8
not
million
true.
causes.
Why?
No, because we're not
Animal
referring
could
to
die without
shchita.
the chicken
No,
being
but
used.
Now
we're
you're
not
putting a
referring.
knife to its neck.
No, we're doing the opposite. It's not shchita. It's the back of the neck. It's nishbra mefarekas reiv basar. We said wasn't available by an animal, not shchita.
Yeah.
It's the back of the neck
Right,
if the
fine.
spine is cut with the flesh.
Fine.
Or not malika, just it broke with the flesh. So the same thing applies to a human. Now, one of my students is an animal lover, and he tells me, he says he doesn't believe in evolution. He says it's too embarrassing to the apes that humans came from this. So, I'm not saying anything to do. I'm just saying that the same. Okay. Amar Reb Shmuel bar Nachmani, Amar Reb Yochanan, Karug kedag mitame ba'oil. If he's torn like a fish, it's mitame ba'oil. Torn like a fish, I assume, means that it's like the way the fish gets opened is they have the. What was that? Oh, there was a yom when someone said, "I'm going to tear you like a fish," right? This was with. Was this with the Baal Shem Tov? Yeah, this was the Baal Shem Tov. Very good. It's good you're here. So that would also be considered like he's dead, if a person was opened up like that. Amar Reb Shmuel bar Yitzchak umigabay. What does umigabay means? From his back. I guess it means through the ribs on the back. Yes. Amar Shmuel, Asa Gistra Nevela. Gistra is a term that's used for a vessel that's incomplete, that a cracked vessel. Like, let's say this was cracked, but it was still usable on the bottom. I could still use it for something, even though the top of it used to be tall. Then it was, in half. So a gistra, they would use it to collect drips of. If there was a pot that had a hole in it, they would put the gistra under it to collect the drips, because they wouldn't throw out a pot just because it had a hole. They would use a little thing to collect a shard. So if someone is cut like a gistra, not someone. Now we're back to an animal. So then it's a nevela. Amar Rabbi Lazar, nitla yerech v'chal shala nevela. Maybe I'm supposed to add in the word nika. If the thigh was taken off and the cavity is recognizable, then it's a nevela. What do you mean the cavity is visible? Amarava, if when it's crouching down, you see that it's missing, because when it crouches down, it could be that you can't tell that the thigh is missing because it's on the floor. But if when it's crouching down on the floor, you can still see that there's an opening there, I guess, that you can see into the where the stomach is and all of that. So then that would be that would be considered a nevela. Tanan Hassam was taught in the Mishnah. Hutzu Roshayim. This is referring to, according to Rashi, the Shemaina Shratzim. These are 8 types of creatures that if they're dead, they transmit tumah. So if their heads are taken off, Afal Pishim Afarchasim, even though they're jumping around, the nerves are, is there a word for that?
Convulsing.
Convulsing. So Tmeim. They're tamei because they're considered dead. Kazanav Halatah Shem Afarchesis. Just like the tail of a lizard that convulses, that jumps around. Mai Hutsu. What does it mean that the heads are it just sounds like are like sprayed off or like shot off? What's the word that they're using? Is there a word that they use for hutsu?
Usually cut off.
It just says cut off? Okay. So if the heads are, what does it mean cut off? Rish Lakish Amar hutsu mamish. Rish Lakish says that it's entirely severed. Ravasi Amar Ravani, Ravasi Amar Rabmani, he says kavdalas oilas oif. It's similar to the way the head is cut by an oilas oif. We have 2 opinions there, so he's making it confusing for us because he uses a term that has 2 translations. So Amalei Rabbi Yirmiyah leRabasi, so Rabbi Yirmiyah tells to Rabasi, kavdalas oilas oif leRabanan v'loi palgisu. Are you referring to the Rabbanan's opinion of the oilas oif that say that you have to cut off the whole head, and you're not arguing with Rish Lakish? Or maybe you're referring to the way that the oilas oif, the head is cut off according to Rabbi Elazar bar Shimon, which is not entirely, and you are arguing with Rish Lakish. Okay. Amalei, so he responds. This is Ravasi. I'm going according to Rabbi Elazar bar Shimon, and I am arguing with Rish Lakish that it's going to be tamei. These animals, these creatures, will be tamei even before the head is taken off entirely. It's considered dead. Ikadamri. There are those that say that this was said straightforward without this question and answer back and forth. Reb Shimon ben Lakish Amar Hutzu Mamish. Rabasi Amar Rabami Kavdala Seila Seifler Rabbi Elazar bar Shimon Bereib Shnayim. And Rabasi says name of Rabami that we're talking about that it's like the head is taken off the oilas ha'oif, this type of sacrifice, the bird sacrifice of an oila, which is only the majority of both, not entirely. Okay, so we have 2 opinions about that. We've been discussing that Malika, the way it's performed on a chatas is different than the way it's performed on an oila. By a chatas, you don't sever the head.